and we go into part 3, which is A Little Fall of Rain, which is the reason that title exists is because that is one of the other big songs that Eponine sings. And it's also, so the song A Little Fall of Rain in the show is Eponine is literally dying. She is in Marius's arms and she's dying, and it's like raining. And so she's kind of saying, as she's singing, like she says, like, don't fret, like, I don't feel any pain. A little fall of rain can hardly hurt me now. And I think using this in relation to Riley is, I think that that's kind of Riley's outlook on a lot of things, where she's like, I can take it. I can take it. Don't worry about me. It's okay. Like, a little fall of rain isn't going to hurt me, even if I'm dying. And so, like, I think that that is just, like, a little interesting allusion to her personality and her character. But so Riley got the role of Eponine. She's like, what? So crazy. And let me just say, Yindra enthusiastically grips her arm. Let's go, Yindra Riley girlfriends, alternate universe. Exactly. So this is definitely one of the most, like, iconic roles in this show. It has one of the most iconic solos in the show, which is On My Own. Of course, we'll talk about that later. So Riley's kind of like, me? In this role? I don't know about that. So she goes to check with Angela, much like Issa did, like, hey, did you mean to give, is this a typo? Like, just checking. And I highlighted in yellow here that it says, like, she was expecting something a little more soft-spoken, like Cosette, or a course member, you know, like another unassuming course member. But she's like, I don't want to fuck this up. I don't want to let anyone down. Angela's like, no, this was intentional. Like, I gave you this role for a reason. And when she explains why she gave her this role, I highlighted this in thematic purple. Ooh. Eponine is a tragic character, but she's not a victim. She suffers and struggles, but continues to crawl onward regardless. She makes bold choices, but also bottles up her emotions to benefit others. She puts aside her own wants to service the happiness of others, even at her own expense. So, obviously, that's a little applicable, one could say, to the things that we see Riley go through in, really, like, the next season is the biggest one, but also just generally speaking. It's a very Riley thematic element. But I also want to say, speaking of the ways that our protagonists overlap and interweave, I would say could also be applied to Charlie as a character.
Ooh, okay. Our third lead.
Yes, our sleeper protagonist.
Sleeper protagonist, love it.
So Riley's like, well, okay, if you're sure. And she's the only person that bothers to ask Angela why she's leaving, which is kind of really funny and really sad. So she's like, where are you going? And Angela explains that she's actually taking some time to go and do some auditions for herself, to kind of take one, last shot at it and see what happens. That's really more of a plan for, like, next episode and what's going to happen in the rest of the season. But we had to throw it in there somewhere, so there it is. Yeah.
It's kind of it's not, like, the biggest deal, I think, at this point. You kind of just think, oh, okay, it's fine.
Yeah, literally. So, at the Matthews apartment, things are, like, bizarrely kind of weirdly nice. Like, Topanga and Corey are not at each other's throats. Little disarming.
Suspicious.
Riley tells them, yes, it is suspicious. Riley tells them, hey, I got this role. And everyone's like, yay! And then Topanga does her classic Topanga thing where she starts, like, giving advice even though Riley didn't ask for advice. So classic. Then back at school, this scene, very small, but it's one of my favorites in the whole episode, and it's one of my favorite scenes between Riley and Charlie in their whole relationship.
It's so cute.
It's like there's so much going on. So they're, like, doing a Master of the House on stage, and next after that is a scene with Eponine and Marius and all those bitches. So behind the scenes, after Riley gets shoulder checked by Maya, which is like, again, Maya, calm down. She gets pulled by Charlie to their place backstage, and while they're waiting for the scene to end so they can go on, they have a little conversation. And Charlie makes a couple jokes about how, like, of course they're gonna play complicated love interests. And what I love about this is that Riley fires back, like, oh, well, then I think it should be reversed, because I'm not the one carrying around unrequited love. And it's like, okay, damn, girl, like, but tell him, like, you're right.
Yeah.
So
like,
again,
like,
it's kind
he's
of
delusional.
it's really him still like doing that thing of like playing into it for his own building it up, but then like at the same time it's like, Charlie, like no one else is around to hear you have this conversation, so like you're really just confusing her, like you're just being weird about it.
Yeah.
But it's nice that at the same time, like it says, like that banter is more natural, like it's not as forced as some of their interactions were in the beginning of the season where everything was like weird and awkward. So she does mention there, she's like, hey, like seems like you and Zay have become pretty good friends, and he's like, why would you say that? What do you mean? What are you talking? What? Why? And she's like, because you've been hanging out, and I see you hang out, and I see you talk. Like, why are you asking me all these questions? Which is true. And so Charlie's like, oh, okay, that's normal. Like, I can be normal about this. So he's like, yeah, like, it's great. And then we get, of course, Charlie gushing, which he probably doesn't even realize he's gushing. But Riley's like, I agree. So I just love, like... And then there's a cute moment where he, like, holds out his hand because they have to walk on stage like that. And then she takes his hand. And I'm just like, I think this is a really interesting preface to, like, what their relationship is going to become. Where it's like, right now they're talking... and they can't really talk to each other. Like, they're not saying anything of substance because Charlie still has all of these, like, facades up and, like, is not really himself. Although I have a comment about that later. But, like, this sounds crazy. But it's, like, the spirit of their future friendship is in this scene.
Aww.
It's just not there yet, you know? Like, it's, like, we know what it's gonna be and we can see the potential, and it's, like, I would put the moment of them holding hands and walking onto stage in, like, every single generic Riley gift set that I would ever make because it's just so cute.
I love that. Yeah, it is very cute, and it's also, like, yeah, it's such a nice little hat tip to what's to come.
Another scene, another day of Topanga giving advice that no one asked for. We're really just starting to set the stage of this whole bullshit that's going on with the two of them. It's only gonna get worse, but... at least right now, it's, like, slightly tame, except for the fact that Riley cannot hold her ground, and that's not okay.
So sad.
And that is affecting... We don't like it. And that is affecting her performance, because she's, like, kind of distracted. And again, earlier in Issa's story, we saw that Riley was distracted and kind of not quite herself. And that's because all of the stuff at home is, like, making her on edge. And she's like, why is this the way it is? And also Topanga-ing. So... that makes her not do this very well, and so Sean's like, can you, like, do better? Because he does not understand how to give notes to people, because he's not a director.
He's like, wasn't great, but I could not tell you why, because I don't know.
Literally. It's amazing that this show, like, actually ended up happening, because, like, you have no director, you have, like, Lucas trying to be, like, stage manager for the first time, you have Maya being a diva, like, how did this get off the ground? We don't know. So Riley's like, okay, I'll figure it out, I guess. And then backstage, there's this insane moment where Riley finds Lucas because he's working on some stuff, and he's very, like, as we just talked about, this is his first time he's being stage manager. So it's like this whole episode when he's at school, like, doing work, like, he is zeroed in on this. Like, he's like, I cannot focus on anything else because people are throwing, like, 1,700 things at me and I don't know what they mean. So I have to figure this out. And suffice to say, like, most of this episode, he is, like, on a different planet mentally. Like, he's like, okay, whatever. And in one of those moments that he is on a different planet, Riley's trying to talk to him. He's, like, kind of half listening, but he's still in, like, stage manager mode. And he's like, hey, your costume's messed up. Let me fix that for you. So he goes and he just takes her belt off and fixes it. And it's like, listen, okay, that's great that you're fixing things, but, like, dude, you just took her belt off. Like, could you use your brain? Could you use it? Could it work? Because now Riley's brain isn't working. You broke her brain. What are we gonna do with that? What are we gonna do about that?
You broke her brain, dude. She's, like, she's meant to be doing stuff, and then you're doing stuff, and now she can't do stuff.
Exactly. That is the epitome of RL.
But also, it's probably like, I mean, that probably fuels Riley for like a good day or so.
Oh, I am sure that she thought about this for like 3 weeks. Like, she was like, oh my god, remember that? That was crazy. Oh my god, wait. He probably doesn't remember that, but I remember that.
Yeah, like he was fully like blacked out in the working vibe.
Yes.
But she's like, well, I have places to go with that. Excuse me.
She's like, I will be thinking about this. No one needs to know I'm thinking about it, but I'm thinking about it. It reminds me, I talked to one of our betas, little div. We were talking about this, and this was ages ago. Like, this was back when we were writing like season 2, I think, and we were just discussing this, and we were like, you know what's gonna happen is like Lucas did not think about this in the moment, but in like a month, he's gonna be insomniac, hanging out in the booth, letting his mind wander because he can't fall asleep because he's an insomniac, and then he is just gonna sit straight up in terror and be like, I took off her belt. Like, oh my god, wait, that just hit me. Oh my god. So it'll hit him later.
Yeah, he'll get there. The process is slower for him, but he'll get there. But luckily for him, in like a month after this, you know, he's even better friends with Riley. So, you know, that's just more scary, and he's just gonna be terrified.
Classic. No, yeah, I think he just needs his brain. It's gonna take his brain a month to process this musical, so we're gonna get there, but it's gonna take some time. There's a backup in his brain.
Yeah, he's pretty, like, I mean, and then when you get to his story, like, you can see, like, he's even more, like, he's dissociated. Like, he is not in the moment.
He's not here. He's somewhere else. We don't know where he is. Then, to make matters even more complicated, since Topanga and Corey seem to be doing okay, to child Augie, he's like, so does the divorce off? Are we good? Is everything good? Aww. And Riley's like, oh my god. Like, how am I supposed to explain this to my 9-year-old brother? Because no one else is explaining it to him, and I can't do this.
It's not your job, Riley.
It's not. And this is, like, I think one of the first moments where Riley's like, you know what? I can't do this. And so she, like, actually removes herself from the situation.
She's yeet out of there.
And where does she go? Who does she call? You know she called Lucas. You know it.
Lucas, because, you know, he's not gonna put any pressure on her. He's not gonna be like, you have to explain it, but he's gonna listen, and he's gonna be quiet. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. That's what it is.
And it's just, it's the growing instinct of, like, her brain. I need help. First person I'm gonna call, Lucas.
Because Lucas.
And that happens again. In the future.
Yeah.
So
many times.
We're starting traditions. Like I said, precedents being set in this episode. So this next scene is where Riley goes to escape this, and I will be up front. This is one of the scenes that makes me feel like, ah! So I will try to be eloquent, but I might not be eloquent.
Okay.
So Riley comes to join Lucas in the booth, and the implication here is that it is the evening. So 2 questions arise. The first one is, she does not question why Lucas is here, but here they are, after hours. We're, again, kind of implicating this thing of, Lucas, do you ever go home?
Yeah. Like, it's
which,
early
again,
enough evening that it's like, they haven't had dinner, but it's like, it's too late for it to be, like, normal. But she's just like,
Yeah. And I think it's like, he could make the excuse if he had to of like, oh, well, being stage manager, like, I have so much stuff to do. Like, I need to just, like, keep working and, like, be here. But again, like, also, like, this is a high school and, like, it's not that deep. So, like, he should be going home. There's still no reason for him to be there that late. But as we know, there's different reasons for him to be there that late. But second piece, what I love about that is that it implies that he then snuck her into the building in the middle of the night, just, like, no questions. He's like, oh yeah, it's 7 p.m, come over. Hang out in the booth.
I guess it helps that she could have, like, literally stolen her dad's key.
True. That's true. That would not be good for him, but
no, it wouldn't. Good for her. But also, like, I don't think she really cares.
Oh, no, definitely not. I also just love the idea of, like, her being like, hey, like, can I come hang out with you? And he's like, sure. And she's like, where are you? He's like, the school.
And she's like,
Like,
cool. Yeah, so I'm coming to see you.
the brain is still turned off from
Honestly,
earlier with the belt.
yeah.
Like, she's like, I don't have to question this.
I'm glad that her brain is turned off and also that his brain is turned off, because one, if his brain had been on, he would have been like, this is insane and there is no way I'm letting Riley come into the booth right now, because one, people can't know that I live here. Two,
Yeah.
like, it's Riley and I'm terrified for some reason. And like,
Yeah.
three, like I am just a blob, so I don't know what she's gonna come here for. But then also, like,
Yeah,
Riley's
literally.
brain being off is so important, because she really is just like, I need a vent, I need to be away from my house. And luckily, you know, because in future scenes, this is like the scene of the crime. Like, this is like a spot. So it's a good thing that her brain is not working, because she might have thought things. They're alone. It's evening.
It's so good that they can't think.
Yeah, it's so good for them. Like, they really
No, it's literally true. You're right.
thrived off not being able to think in this scene in particular.
So it also kind of sets it up as she likes the fact that it's like cool to see the auditorium like dark and empty, because it's a moment of peace in a setting usually flooded with chaos. And I think that description of the booth with the two of them in it is kind of like a metaphor also for their relationship in the flux of everything else. Like, that's why Taylor Swift Peace is associated with them in the show, because that is kind of what they are to each other, is like everything else can be in flux and shit, but when I'm with you, it's quiet and it's okay. So yeah, I just I'm okay.
Woo.
I won't be okay by the time we get to this episode, the end of it, but I'm okay right now. They like, obviously, like, this is Lucas's space, so he's like, I'm gonna go in my chair, like, you can sit in that chair, like, whatevs. I also highlighted, just super small thing, but he tosses Riley a snack with a quick think fast, which she just merely manages to catch. Where is my parallel gift set of him doing that to her, and then him doing that to Charlie in the hotel in London, and him not being able to catch it and getting smacked in the face?
Yes, I love that. That's such a good point.
Like, first of all, Lucas has weird habits. Second of all, Riley has better catch game than Charlie.
I mean, that's actually really surprising, because you would think that Charlie would have fast reflexes being a dancer, and we know Riley is clumsy. But I guess
it's the opposite.
Riley's reflexes are on, like, super fast autopilot right now, whereas Charlie was a mess.
Yeah,
so
he's always a mess. So
catching things, yeah.
I think that is so funny. Actually, I don't know why I was talking about this or where it came from, but recently I'd been talking about the fact that, like, so Charlie is like graceful dancer, like really, you know, really good dancer, really athletic, but I also think he's like chronically klutzy too. Like, if he's not dancing, he's a mess. Like, I think, like, if you think about, like, when in 312, when they were like sneaking into the auditorium and he like almost knocks the ghost light over and breaks it, like, he is just like, if he's in dance mode, it's like he's centered and he's focused and he's zen, and that allows him to like be graceful. But when he's just existing in the real world, he's like gonna collapse like every 5 seconds. Literally, this is one of those scenes where I basically highlighted like every single line because I just like love it. But the way that she's like, so this is your life, like, you just hang out in here like this, and this is what you do. And he's like, well, you're now here too, so you're gonna ask me that question? And she's like, touche, okay. You got me there. And then he kind of continues to go on, because he's like, clearly something's up, because like, you would not come in here if there wasn't any reason. She's like, what do you mean? I can't just ask how stage managing's going and how your life is? And he just looks at her and he's like, am I really supposed to believe you just dropped by here because you were dying to hang out in this musty booth with yours truly? And she says, well, it's not without its charms. And then he just raises his eyebrow at her. So what I like
Very
about that
fun.
is the fact that it's like literally like yes she would just do that. Like it's not like he's like you would never do this, and it's like no, actually I think she would not pass
Definitely
that
would.
up. But also the fact that like they already are building this kind of like rapport of like, but I
Hmm.
think we talked about this a little bit where like Riley and Lucas, one of the biggest things about their relationship is a lot of stuff is tacit. It's like eye contact, it's facial expressions, like they're not very verbal as a couple. It's all about kind of just like reading each other, and I think we're already seeing that here, like the way he just like looks at her and then she knows like okay, like fine, I have to tell the truth. I think that's like a first instance of what so much of their relationship is going to be like.
Yeah, they have a tacit understanding of things.
And also the fact that he can already read her like that where he's
Yeah.
like girl, you lying. Especially because he like can't read anybody else, like he's like doesn't get any other person on earth, so
Yes, it's like, oh, special.
mm-hmm. So yeah, then Riley does kind of like start to say like, okay, well here's what's going on, and kind of through that, I think just through the freedom of like feeling like she can talk about it, she kind of just spills it all out, just puts it all out there, all the stress of like Topanga and her family and the weird situation she's in. And oh, again, what I like about this scene and the way that they kind of talk to each other is again they're just meeting each other at the level that they're at. Like Lucas says, like the first thing he does is like, what do you want me to say? Like I'm not
Yeah.
an advice giving person, like tell me what you want to hear. And she doesn't know, and because she doesn't have like the perfect thing that she wants to hear, it kind of opens up the door for him to be like, okay, well then I'll just say what I'm thinking, but just note this is just me saying what I'm thinking, like I'm not acting like I have all the answers. And so and that's again like that's kind of like a foundation for their whole relationship, is that's how they
Hmm.
handle every scene where they have conversations like this. Like Lucas is always like, I don't know anything, but here's what I think. But then like Riley like takes him seriously and takes his advice to heart. So
Yeah, it's like it's also just she she would she would look for advice, but I think coming from him, she listens more for some reason.
mm-hmm. And isn't that
I
interesting,
think,
like
yeah,
because no
it
one
is.
listens to him, he's not listened to,
Oh,
but she listens to him. There's a line.
that's very cute.
There's that
Mm.
line in "You Matter to Me" that they sing in 311. Like Lucas's first line in that song is like, "It's addictive the minute you let yourself think that the things that I say might matter to someone," and that's like
Oof.
their entire relationship. So yeah, I also highlighted in here when after he kind of expresses sympathy, I highlighted just in yellow. He has a sense of how it feels when your house doesn't feel like a home, so he's genuinely sympathetic. And
Mm.
obviously we, having gone 4 seasons deep now, like we know all about that line, but at this point, considering there's still 2 stories in this episode that haven't even been unpacked yet, like it's like, oh, I kind of had a sense, but like what does that mean? And then oh, we're gonna find out what that means.
Yeah, that's cool. That's like a through line from
Yeah.
here. And it's kind of like a little bit like, why does he stay in the booth? It's very much like, well, why is he here?
Mm-hmm.
Like if anyone was gonna get it, it's the person who's like hanging out in the booth until late at night or
Yeah.
slash all night.
Yeah. It's also the thing too of like, again, what I love about this episode is like it's always you setting up questions and you're asking like, well, what, I'm just wondering, I wonder, and then like you kind of have to wait to get that answer when you get the different context from a different story.
Mm.
That's why I love this version of storytelling. So yeah, then that's a really nice scene. It's a really nice kind of found. To me, I think I like it because it's a very like kind of foundational. Again, precedent setting. There's a lot of precedent setting in this episode, and this is like precedent setting for like how their relationship is, like the way that they talk to each other, the way they take each other seriously, the way that they find peace and comfort with each other. It's just so good. I just love them.
Yeah, the way they like make a little cozy, nice place out of a like musty old room.
Mm-hmm.
Like they find their home with each other, even if the rest is like
Exactly.
Yeah.
Period. Yes, they're the whole motif for them about home is not a place is yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So then we go into we're setting up for the next performance, and Lucas is like, Riley's like, hey, can I like hang out here for a bit? And Lucas is like, I mean, if you want to like waste your time, sure. Like, I'm not gonna say no, but it's gonna be really boring because I'm just gonna be working on my stuff. She's like, that's fine, that's fine. And I wrote like doing nothing, like, oh no, Lucas, she's gonna be staring at you, and that's doing plenty. That's a full evening. She's just
Like,
gonna
she
watch.
has a lot planned. She has a whole itinerary here. Look at Lucas's eyes. Look at Lucas's hair. Look at Lucas's chin.
Literally,
Like,
that's
she
the
could go all
look at
night.
his eyelashes. So yeah, then we go into fittingly Riley's performance for the episode, which is On My Own because she is playing Eponine. Obviously this is like one of the most famous Les Mis songs, I would say. It's like very
Yeah.
much if you want like a female beltery song, like Yes I Dreamed a Dream is there, but like this one is the one that's like, I mean, look, Rachel Berry season 1 episode 1 of Glee, what did she sing? She sang this song. So
Yeah.
it's
It's
that
iconic. I
song.
mean,
Yeah.
can't
But
deny it.
dare I say Rachel Berry who? Because Riley Matthews is singing it.
I agree.
So it's nice to
I
see
agree.
also like that she gets the kind of chance to actually sing it, you know, powerfully, because early in the episode she was like, Sean was like, that wasn't that good. I don't know how to explain it to you. But she has found like her zone. And I think what I like about this, aside from the RL of it all, is just like it kind of goes to show that Riley's approach to performing, I think, is different than the divas. Because with the divas, I mean, Farkle kind of toes the line, but like with the divas, it's like about presentation. It's just about skill and like talent. And like that doesn't mean that they don't put emotion into their stuff, but it's really driven by like practice
Yeah,
and
it's like the
skill
emotion
and
is there, but it's more like force. Like, they're like, okay, I need this emotion, so I'm going to pepper that in
right.
and
Like I think that's
voila, a
completely
performance.
how Maya and Zay operate when they're performing, is it's about preparation and presentation.
Mm,
Whereas with Riley, I think every time she does a really powerful performance in the show, it is spurred by emotion. Like it's spurred by being bolstered by someone or being upset about something, or like, I
mm,
mean, Rose's turn is like she was really upset. And that was what spurred her to have that first kind of breakout moment. And I think this here is she's experiencing all these emotions about Lucas. And so that's kind of spurring this feeling. And I think we see that we can come back to this every time it comes up later in later episodes, but I think that that really fuels her performing. Whereas I think Farkle is kind of in the middle, where like when he does have the presentation thing and he knows how to put on a performance, but also his best performances
yes,
are the emotional
exactly.
ones.
I totally agree. I was like about to say that exact thing.
Yeah. And that's called being the protagonist. That's on
We love it.
protagonism.
Sorry to Maya and Zay. This is why.
Like I love them, love y'all, but what can I say? So yeah, I mean we could also get into like on that front thinking about like the Zay of it again. Like I feel like Zay's whole kind of thing in the show is like his presentation diva performer self versus his more kind of like emotional self, and I think that
Mm,
again, like how much of that is contributed to the fact that he's in like the main romance of the show with Charlie, and Charlie is very emotional. Like everything he does is emotional. Like basically, Charlie doesn't perform presentation wise. He really only performs if he's exploding with emotion and something is like fighting to get out. Like that's so much of his performances. Like if you think about I mean, there's a song this episode that we'll get to. So that's one. And then it's like everything in season 2 is like if he didn't actually have that many performances in season 2, but they're all like if he's like very upset or very scared or like there's like a push there. And then season 3, like all of his big performances, like Superstar is literally like I cannot hold in this stuff anymore. It's gonna like make me go crazy. So he is like that is his version of performing, is like I have to get it out somehow. Whereas like he doesn't ever do the Maya version of performing. So it's really interesting, like, where they all fit on this spectrum.
Yeah, it's really different for each character, and like that's what makes them unique. And also, it doesn't mean that like Maya is like a worse person. It just means her
Hmm.
performance is more driven, I think, out of that ambition and that kind of
Yes.
thing,
She
whereas her
doesn't.
emotion is like separate from it.
Right. And I think she also, Maya is a whole thing to unpack because I think she is kind of defensively inauthentic about emotions. Like,
Mm,
she doesn't put emotion into her stuff because she wants it to be like, you can't read me from this. Like, I keep all my cards to
yeah,
my chest and you're never going to get it out of me. You're just going to get what I'm presenting to you, which is like a really
yeah,
interesting side of it. And I feel like coming into season 4 and season 5, we're going to like peel that back a little bit. So it's exciting.
yeah. It is exciting.
So speaking of Maya and Riley, the last kind of scene in Riley's little section here is we're getting the context for why she stormed out, and Farkle was like, what's going on? Is
Mm,
because she runs into Maya, and Maya has another moment of kind of being bitchy, and Riley
yes.
mix snaps in Riley fashion, which is iconic, and she's like, "Stop talking to me like that," and she goes on this monologue that totally shocks Maya, but it's kind of like the beginning of what we're gonna get a sense of in future seasons of like,
Mm,
Riley is a badass. Like, she has all of this power and like poise and articulation in her, and it's just in season 1 it's been so sanded down, and I think we see that from Topanga in this episode. Like, she has been morphed into what she is, but there is this powerful force inside of her that is just waiting to blossom, and I feel like scenes like this in season 1 are like the first instances of that. It's just so good. I love her. So what
yeah,
she's yeah, go ahead.
like it's kind of it kind of relates to the fact that like she always tries to build up Lucas, but actually like he builds her up too.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's like obviously like performing at Adams is like a really big part of her coming into herself, but also just the fact that Lucas is like equally as supportive of hers,
Yeah.
her growth as she is as his, and that's why they're amazing.
Mm-hmm. You said that exactly right. I think it's like we talked about this at some point when we got like a an anonymous ask about it, kind of along the same lines, but it's just that like I think you're right, and it's just that the way, again, like, Lucas is not super verbal, so like we can easily see and perceive Riley's support of Lucas because she's much more articulate and she's much more like upfront about it. Like, she's like, she vocalizes how she feels, she vocalizes her support, whereas I think Lucas, it's much more subtle, and it's really just we see it through Riley's growth after the fact, whereas it's less direct, like, I support you, and it's more like, I am actively changing you just from the way I support
There's so much. They really, wow.
you. So yeah, basically Riley's line to Maya is, I'm just gonna say it because it's iconic. I'm sorry if you feel like you're losing control. I'm sorry if you feel threatened. Believe me, I'm quite familiar with both. But I'm not a dartboard, and I'm done taking your jabs whenever you need someone to take your aggression out on. Either change your behavior, which is what I would recommend, or find someone else to play punching bag. I'm done with it. It's like, damn.
It's so
Good for
good. Like
her.
it's so true. Like she saw the like past the thing, and that's really such a cool thing about Riley is she was like, this isn't just Maya being like bitchy. This is her being
Hmm.
like insecure about her like only thing, really, which is also like kind of undercutting her as well. She's like, Maya, like your only thing is like being a star, and if you are feeling threatened because you're not, then like that's your fault, not mine.
Yeah, so true. I also just, I love the like Riley brand of sharpness where she, like, I love the part where she's like, either change your behavior, which is what I would recommend. And it's like, I love that she kind of has this like, because we know like she's a little bit of control freak, and she's a little bit of like, I need to fix everyone. And I just love this like kind of passive aggressive, like, I could fix you, but you have to fix
Hmm.
yourself. But here's what I would recommend to do to fix you. Like, that's so on brand for her, like, through the rest of the season. She does, like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed so well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she gets people. Like she's like an observer of people, so she definitely understands, like, you cannot keep doing this, Maya. And Maya's like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything
Well, yeah, true that.
for now.
So, okay, here we go. Part 4 is titled Sweet Jesus, Hear My Prayer. I wonder who could possibly be about. I have no idea. Um, so I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna say, literally, at the top of my notes here, it says, "Oh boy, oh man, Charlie time. Let me have a quick little breakdown." This whole part of the episode, I feel like,
Yeah.
to be honest, is one of the reasons that this episode is one of my favorites. It's like this just chunk of it. There's just so much going on, and but in like subtle ways where it's not like outright like look at all this stuff that's going on, but there's so
Yeah.
much baked into it that it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
it makes me want to like scream. Like I'm like, oh my god. So it's time to get crazy. The
Okay.
episode
Like
time
this
has
is
come to get crazy.
yeah. Like we're literally like unpicking this sentence by sentence because there's so much everywhere.
I know. Ah! Okay, okay.
I
Let's do
could
it. Let's do
cry, but we're not going to. We're gonna be slow.
it. And also, it's like,
Okay.
everybody knows if they listen to this already that both of us are obsessed with Charlie, so this is going to be really hard, but we're going to do it. We're going to be calm and
We're gonna
collected.
try be yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's do this.
I'm literally gonna cry. I'm sorry. I'm actually going to. I'm just too emotional. So even just from like the first sentence, like Charlie is excited because he gets to be a main role, which is like, yes, like Charlie is a main character in this show. So let's
Yes.
go. He is center stage. And also I love that his first line of this because when it's like he's ready to take center stage, it's like this is like his story. So it's just like a perfect
Mm-hmm.
opening line.
No, yeah, exactly. That's one thing that is like I love about this episode and this story is this is, and I'll talk about this as moments come up, but this is really like this is really the first time we're actually like meeting Charlie as a character because he has
Yeah.
been in the first 8 episodes, but it's always been kind of either tangential or like as an aside or like someone else is interacting with him, but we've been so like he's kind of behind plexiglass and we can't
Mm-hmm.
see him, which is intentional. But like this is the first episode where it's like, oh, that's Charlie. Like as a character, we're
That's
actually
why he
seeing
is
him.
like that. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
so exciting.
Um,
Okay. Yes, and I
okay.
also think it's very cute that he's excited because first of all, the fact that he was dance captain last year is like A, where's Angela's taste? But also B, it's still nice though that like it clearly shows that he has talent because he would not have been in charge of the choreography and dance captain if he did not have something to bring to the table. So it's kind of like a nod at like he's there for a reason. He's just in the background all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, it's really incredible as well because it's not like Les Mis is like the biggest like dance musical. Like there are so many ones
Hmm.
that have like more significant dance portions. So like it's just kind of it's cool because, he has the range.
Yes.
He doesn't get to tap into it very much. And also I think because it's almost like because he gets given this role, like he gets to kind of explore that range, but also that kind of leaks into his personal life, which is why it's so cool to see like more of his life because it's
Hmm.
almost like, yeah, it's like we get to see the range like personal as well as
Yes.
performing.
Heck yeah, so true. But do you think Haley was so upset that she wasn't Cosette when she found out he was
Yes.
Marius? She's like, God damn it.
Haley's like,
Yendra!
damn it. Why? Why is it never me? She like goes home, she like rants and she like writes in her little journal. She's like, this is so unfair. Like I tried so hard and like it's when is it gonna be my year? Like to like I need to kiss him in the play. It's not fair.
Oh, girl. She was spared, though. She was
Sweetie,
spared.
he was.
Let's see.
I don't yeah.
Whew,
Honestly,
okay.
I mean, maybe if she had been, maybe she would have been like, oh, you know what? Yendra's right. Women.
She's like, I needed Charlie to break that for me. I needed the
Yeah.
illusion to be shattered. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
things might have gone a lot differently for Clarissa as well that year if that
Oh
had
my
been the
gosh.
case.
They're just so funny. Okay, so moving on from like the first paragraph, we're only one paragraph in. So it gets even better when Say gives him a hug. Like he gets a roll, he gets a hug. Like, is he alive? I don't know. He's having a moment. He's always having a
He
moment.
is,
So
especially when the hug lingers.
yes, he's too much. I can't with him. Literally, like in my notes, like four times, just on one page, it literally says, I can't do this. They're in love. I just can't." Like
It's like
different
they
variations
just
of that.
can't.
I just
And
can't.
hug, like if we could just see it, because you know that they're both so graceful. Oh, it's
Hmm.
gonna be beautiful. Like it's just, I mean, have they hugged before? I don't know. Have they?
Yes. Because like in 107, after the paint battle, they hugged because they won, and it
That's
said
right.
Charlie had an aneurysm. Yeah, so at least he's not having
Yeah.
aneurysms anymore. But
Well, like it's actually a lot more chill. There's no aneurysms. There's actually a linger.
there's a linger. The lingering is to combat the aneurysm.
Okay, breathe. Okay, breathe.
So then they've hugged. They've moved past the casting thing as they're going to the auditorium. They're like, we're picking up on a thread that we left in 108, which was at the end of that episode, Charlie was like, "Hey, by the way, if you would want to hang out sometime, I'd be down for that." "I'm so casual." And Zay's
He's
like,
so casual.
"Okay, cool." So now we get the sense like that they are gonna do that and they're talking more about it and it's all exciting. So it's funny though, because and this is kind of a thread I think is so true throughout most of Charlie and Zay's
Hmm.
early courtship, is that Charlie is like stupid excited about stuff
So
where
awkward and cute.
he's like, "What are we gonna do? Like, what crazy thing are we gonna do?" And Jay's like, "I don't fucking know, dude. Like, we're just gonna hang out. Like, it's not that deep." Um, and I highlighted this exchange where Charlie says, "No, yeah, for sure. I've only ever really hung out with Haley and Clarissa and Yogi one time. That was weird. Oh, and friends from church. Somehow I don't think any of that as prior experience would be interesting to you." And Zay said, "God, literally, who are you? Look, I'll just pick
Yeah,
something and it'll be a big surprise for you because clearly you're not ready for that much fun responsibility." Like, that is like,
Ray is exactly right.
it's true. First question I have is, what was his hangout with Yogi? I would love to know. Where did that come from? Why did that happen? What did they do? There's a whole backstory there that we don't have the answers to. And then just, yeah, like
Yeah,
the whole thing of fun and responsibility and who taught you having fun was trouble, and like that whole thread,
yeah.
it is continuing. So and he gives him another pat on the shoulder. So like, oh my goodness, what's happening?
Multiple touches.
And it's
Oh,
just
and
gonna
Charlie's so cute. Like he'd be grinning so much. Adorable.
tears in my
But
eyes
then
already.
we do have to step away from the happy times because
Yes, this
we
is
go home.
so we're going home. We're going to the Gardner home. And this is kind of the first time I think in the show where we're really actually seeing his home. Like we've seen glimpses of it.
Hmm.
Like in the pilot we saw a glimpse of it. And I think in a different episode we might have seen like a small glimpse of it. I honestly can't remember. But this is the first time where it's like, here it is. Here's the setup. Here's I think it's
Yeah,
like the it says like we're introducing all these characters for the first time. And it's like, this is a relatively short scene, but there is so much packed into this. Like,
yeah.
oh my goodness. So, first, let me just take a moment because we did have a question a million years ago about how did I cast, the family members, particularly the Mink guy and the Gardners. And I said at the time, I would wait on the Gardners until we met them. And now we are
Okay.
meeting them. So here we are. Again, this is kind of a situation of very similar to the Mink guy, where it was like, okay, we know we have Corey, and now let's build on that to build a family that looks like they could be related. Um,
Yeah.
for this, very similar. We had Tanner. And we're like, okay, we need to kind of build around him based on his family. And with some people, it was pretty easy. Like, so the person who plays Rosie, Lola Flannery, I knew her from The 100, one of my favorite shows ever. And she also was in Shadowhunters. Like, she's young, so she hasn't been in that much, but she's been in stuff that I was aware of. And I
Yeah.
just, liked her as an actress. So I was like, she's the right age, like, she's got the right vibe. And then also, I'm glad I did pick her because if you put her next to Tanner, like they literally look like they could be siblings. So
Yeah.
that worked out really well. Like I think she and then the person who plays Bridget, which again, I'm sorry if I butcher anybody's names because I just read their names. I never actually hear people say their names because I'm just doing stuff on the internet. And also I can't talk, as I said, I don't speak English. I can barely speak English. I can't speak French. So all that being said, Kara Hayward is Bridget, and she, I think I just had like a lingering impression of like, again, I was doing my IMDb like young actresses in Hollywood, and she has, with Bridget, she has such a striking face. Like her features, Kara's features are so unique, and I feel like I liked that kind of like, she doesn't look quite like the rest of them, which again, she's not quite like the rest of them in terms of the story, but she does have certain similarities. Like if you put her next to Tanner, you could see conceivably how they could be related. And if you put her next to Jessica Hecht, who plays Eleanor, they look very similar too, which is a really interesting thing of Bridget kind of looking the most like Eleanor and yet being so different from her and like on the polar opposite end of their family, I think is really interesting. And then also the biggest thing too is like if you look at photos of Kara, like she has the most striking like light blue eyes. They're like so intense. And that was such a big thing for me in visualizing this character, is I wanted her to have these kind of like piercing eyes that like are seeing right through you and seeing right through the bullshit, because that's such a big piece of her character. And I wanted to be able to play with that like when we meet her later. Like it's very expressive. Like she can just like look at Charlie and it's like, I think you're lying, or like I don't believe you, or I don't buy any of this in terms of like their setting and their home life. And like I just think those eyes are what unsettles Eleanor. She's like, something about that child, demonic. Something's not right. So that was very instrumental in casting her. And then with the other two, like Daisy, it really was just like I needed someone who fit the right age. I'm gonna be honest, there's not a lot of people that fit that. I was able to find I think her name is, I'm blanking, I think it's Lulu, but she's like a horror actress. She does a lot of horror movies, which kind of works because I mean Daisy as a character is very flat. Like she's very like, she again is kind of antithetical to what you think a Gardner child is, but they write it off because like, oh, she's young, like she's fine, but like she's unique in her own way as well. Very fun to write because of that. And then Agatha, you know, she's one that we don't see all that often. Here's the irony about that is, so that is Florence Pugh, who of course is now like the it girl of Hollywood right now. But the thing was, when we casted this, which it was 2019, it was March 2019 about, that was before Midsummer came out. So we had like casted her and it was like, oh great, like she's kind of like, she's been out there, like we know of her. And then of course she like blew up. And so it's like theoretically like, would she have the time to be on Ambition? Maybe not. But in my world, yes, she can be. So, and she also just has the very similar kind of like round face shape that like Tom Welling has and Lulu has, and even Lola Flannery. So they kind of have these similar features. And speaking of Tom Welling, who is Ambrose Gardner, he's formerly, Superman, formerly a Clark Kent. And for that, I think I just really wanted to pick someone kind of like how we casted Randall as the dad from Friday Night Lights. Like we wanted to kind of find people who are not necessarily any longer like big name people, but that kind of have this like feeling or sense of like there's like a kind of nostalgia to it. And Tom Welling definitely has that. And also I think he just looks right for the family. So that's kind of the general casting of this crew.
It's great.
Oh, and also we wanted to go with Jessica Hecht for Eleanor because A, the look was just right. Like she just has this perfect look for it. And B, it was a little bit of irony because she was like so famous for playing a lesbian on Friends. And we wanted to kind of flip that a little bit. So, yeah.
That's great. I didn't know that because I've not watched most of Friends.
It's true. She was Susan, who was the girlfriend of Ross's ex-wife. So,
Oh, was that her?
yes, it is. That was her in the 90s.
Damn.
So there you go.
I don't know.
And I
I
just
can't
think because
remember.
she does a lot of like, she's done a huge range of stuff. Like, she does theater, she does like comedic weird roles like that are more off color and like quirky. She's done mainstream like Friends. And so I think it's like, I could just see in a, you know, in the version of reality where the show exists that she would be like very into this role. Like, oh yeah, like let me play into this. Let me, you know. So I think that would be a good casting. So.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
So, now that that piece is out of the way, the actual family dynamics going on here, we're getting introduced to a lot at once.
Mm-hmm.
We are setting up with, I think it's important that the first scene we see of all of them, though, is this family dinner. Because
Mm-hmm.
later on, like in Cruel Summer, like Charlie talks about how, like, the family dinner is very important in their family. It's like a coveted thing, they cherish it. And to start with that with them is like kind of setting that up of like family is really important here, and we will very well come to understand that as time goes on. But I like that there's a lot of just little details here of like Eleanor is at like the head of the table and is like clearly guiding the conversation. She is the matriarch, she has everything under control, yeah, as we know, like as we come to know. And then the fact that like Ambrose and Charlie like are both very quiet for most of the time, but they like exchange looks with each other. And it's, you know, it says from the beginning like Ambrose is a clearly a loving father. And that's like an interesting thing to set up right from the get-go, because as we know, like the next 3 seasons, a huge piece of internal conflict is, will he always be that way if I tell him the truth? So that's a really interesting thing that we're setting up right from the get-go. Like, they have a very special relationship, particularly because they're the only 2 men in this whole family.
Yeah.
And then we also have Rosie, which is, she's introduced as Rosamund, which is her full name, but we later come to know her more familiarly as Rosie. And then Rosie and Daisy are like bickering and being their like preteen tween selves. And the fact that like that's something that Charlie and Ambrose kind of laugh at and bond over. And we'll get into, there will be plenty of time to talk about Rosie as a character, because she really becomes an important character much later. Whereas right
Yeah.
now she really is kind of just like brat. She's brat sibling. But much to unpack there at a later time. So yeah,
Yeah.
Charlie in this scene finds a moment to step in, and he just, you know, casually is like, hey, so I got this role. And everyone's like, oh great, good for you. And it's interesting that it's very specific that Eleanor is really excited about it, and the first thing she says is like, oh, I'm gonna brag to everybody, like I'm so excited about this
Yeah.
for you, but also for me. And I think that it's subtle, but that is like a perfect setup for the entirety of their relationship, which is Eleanor is
Yeah.
always thinking about like I think we talked about this a lot in our group chat, particularly from Emma, who like obviously hates Eleanor and like wants her to die. But like Eleanor sees Charlie as like just like a pedestal, like this perfect prop of a good Christian prodigal son that she has created. He's like her
Yeah.
art piece rather than like an actual human being. And so it's
Yeah.
like, how can I show this off? Like, how can I get more praise from this, make everybody jealous? And I think even just this first moment here of like, hey, I got this role, oh that's so great, I'm gonna tell everybody, is like evidence of that right from the
Mm.
beginning.
Yeah, and I guess it's probably made even worse with Bridget like getting kicked out because she's second oldest. So then it's almost like all the hopes that were laid on her then like also put on Charlie because
Mm-hmm.
like they didn't get fulfilled by Bridget, which
Yeah,
is
and
just
also
something that Eleanor would do because she's mean.
yes, and Charlie also is carrying the extra weight of I am the only son in this family, so all of
Yeah.
the son desires and wants and dreams are on him. Like there's no one else to pawn it off to. Like Agatha did everything right, but there's still 3 other daughters, and in some ways all of them are fucked because of that, because they're like, Agatha did it perfectly, and if I feel any different, like well, great, because, you know, like, later we see a lot of friction between Rosie and Eleanor, because Rosie feels like she can never be what Eleanor wants her to be, and she doesn't have the backbone that, like, Bridget does, of Bridget just being like, well, fuck that, I don't care. So, like, that's all really interesting, but Charlie has a different pressure, because it's like, yes, he's spared the being compared to all of his sisters, and, like, having the fact that, you know, if one fucks up, then, like, all of the others are under intense pressure, and also that women just get less of a break in these kind of societies, and it's more like they're harshly criticized. So Charlie can get away with more, but at the same time he can't, because he is the only one, so he has to do everything exactly right.
Yeah, he's lucky he is a guy, because imagine if it was like the reverse and it was like
Four
four
brothers
brothers
and
and
Charlie
then one,
and
yeah,
one girl, yeah.
yeah, that
Like,
would
kind
be
of like,
like,
that's what the Minkuses are like. Like, it's Lila and then all of these brothers,
mm,
and she has her own angst about that. So
poor Lila.
thankfully they're, like, less, you know, like, religious. Like, they are Jewish, but it's less Gardner than
Yeah,
they have
although
to deal
just
with.
Judaism is like a bit nicer to women in general than Catholicism.
Generally speaking. Yeah. So we have this moment, and they're like, okay, great. And also they're like immediately like, oh, like, let's let Agatha know, so that she and her fiance John Duffy, woo, we're not going to meet him for 3 seasons, but let's go date Radcliffe, so that they can come from upstate and see opening night. And that's all great and well and good, but then Charlie kind of kills the mood, because he optimistically, naively, hopefully is like, hey, do we think Bridget might want to come? Maybe? And
Oh,
it's
he's
like,
so cute.
uh, silence. Like, awkward. And that's a really interesting thing, because, okay, again, like I said, here at Ambition, we plant everything, because this is the first time Bridget is mentioned, and then it's a slow burn to when we finally actually meet her. So, there's that. And then
Mm-hmm.
the fact that, like, we're kind of getting a sense, though, of, like, how recent this is that she has disappeared, because they all kind of still don't really know how to handle it. And also the fact that Charlie is even bothering to vocalize and ask shows that, like, he has not yet internalized and learned that thing of, like, oh, we just don't talk about Bridget. Like, she's done. She's gone. Like, that's it. It's still fresh enough that it's like, well, uh, can I bring this up? So that's, like, a really interesting thing, that we're actually pretty early in this experience of her absence.
And yeah, you can see like Eleanor and Ambrose, like they're seizing up and having the tacit exchange is like, oh, these guys, they got
Yeah.
issues. Like, but
And I
then we
also,
don't, at this point, we don't know what the issue is.
right, we have no idea. This is the first time we are hearing of Bridget. We don't know anything about her. We are barely know anything about his family. So it's like this weird, like, we've been given this perfect picture of, like, look at this wonderful Catholic family, and then this, like, bomb gets dropped in the middle of it, and we're all like, what? And they're all kind of like, oh, how do we respond to this? But Rosie, in her beautiful Rosie fashion, in her brat moment, responds to him, and she kind of gives us a little more context through her brat moment, where she says, why would Bridget come home for yet another one of your musicals when she hasn't been back since she left for college last year? Which is like, okay, girl, don't be rude. But then Eleanor kind of cuts that. She doesn't even let anybody answer. She cuts off that conversation and is like, let's have dessert. So it's clearly like, we're not talking about this. And it's just like, so,
No go.
as you say, everyone's so tense. This is,
Yes.
it's hidden tension, because everybody's acting like there's no tension, but it's tense.
The worst kind of tension.
And it clearly, Charlie is haunted by this and not satisfied with it. And that's going to be a long running feeling that he has. So, yeah. Now, back to happy, lighter things. We are hanging
Hooray!
out with Charlie and Zay at their first, as it says, bros being bros outing, which is like, okay, real
Classic.
subtle.
Who's bros chilling in the diner?
So yes, they're hanging out in a diner in Queens that Zay picked, which is going to become a very important location, but it's not right now. It's very fresh. Everything's new. But the nice thing about it is that it's out of, the city. It's not near, I mean, it's still like a borough of New York, but it's not Manhattan. So it's not Charlie's usual place. It's not Charlie's usual crowd. And that allows him to be a little more like, I don't have to worry about people seeing me. I can be a little bit more myself.
Like,
and
probably no one from church is going to be there. So,
right, exactly. And to that point, this is where, I wrote in my notes and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I think that, like, this is a great example of, like I said, like, we're really seeing Charlie in this episode, because the way he is in this scene, where he is, like, it's just so authentically him to be, like, so fascinated by things and just enjoying, like, the little things, like, look at this scenery that I've never seen before, and these fries are so good, and, like, he is just, like, I think Charlie, when he's not burdened by all of his shit, like, he is a very, like, positive, like, just kind of like like Dylan almost, in the sense that he's like, he loves the little things and he's appreciative of little things, and we're seeing that in the scene, that he is, like, so excited to be there. Like, look out the window, look how cool that is, and Zay is like, oh, okay, that's kind of cute.
he's like, wow, this little nerd.
Yeah, literally. And then a quintessential Charlie line. This is, like, literally, this line is one of my favorite lines in the episode, and it's also one of my, like, literally favorite Charlie lines. I feel like it speaks a lot to him, but also it's just funny. So he really is enjoying these fries, which ZC Fries conspiracy theory beginning here.
Yeah.
He says, I'd give up my career for these fries. I'm going to marry these fries and move to a villa out in the countryside and live out the rest of our days in blissful matrimony. So, classic, like, Charlie weird, nerdy, eloquent statement that's like, okay, you're adorable, but also, like, there's something to be pulled from this, though, meta-wise, where he says, it's a joke, like, I'd give up my career for these fries, but I think it also kind of shows, like, the fact that he's making that joke is, like, it's a little bit of a foreshadowing of, like, he does not look at arts the same way Zay looks at arts, and Maya looks at arts, and Farkle looks at arts, where, like, in season 4 now, we've kind of gotten to the point, spoilers, obviously, but we've kind of gotten to the point where it's pretty clear, like, Charlie is not planning to pursue arts as his career. It might be something that he studies in college for, more time and, like, continues to do through his life, but he's not trying to do the Zay Maya thing. And I think that was kind of in question for earlier seasons, and I think, but this kind of line of him being like, oh, I would forego dance for these fries, like, he's not serious about it the way that everybody else is.
Yeah, and it's also like, what if the fries are like a metaphor for Zay?
Go on.
So maybe he would, like, give up his career for Zay, and he would, like, marry Zay and move to a villa in the countryside and live out the rest of their days in blissful matrimony.
Wow. You
Just a
are
thought.
blowing some minds right now. You said take fries and put Zay there. A whole new meaning to this line. But you know what? I'm a top you on that. I'm gonna say, take fries and put Zay. Take career and put world order. Like, the way that he lives now.
Ooh, yes.
I'd give up this for that.
That is it. That is...
We just cracked a code.
That's a lot. We
didn't know there was a code to crack, but we cracked it.
We found the code and we cracked it.
And that is Ambition Unpacked. That's why we're here, y'all. That's insane. That's so good, though. But, it's also true. I think another thing about this line is it really also immediately introduces us to Charlie's brand of romanticism, where it's not just, I'd marry these fries. It's, I'd marry these fries and I'd move to a villa in the countryside that's beautiful and romantic and naturey, and it would be blissful. Like, that is Charlie's brain.
Yeah, and I think it also speaks to that kind of, like, Christian idea of, like, he's gonna marry the thing and, like, live out his days. Like, that is, like, the ideal.
Yes. He's very, he's like, I'm gonna have monogamy with my fries.
Yeah. It will be
healthy Christian monogamy. Oh my goodness. So then a waitress comes to check on them, and let me just say, the waitress, Could that be Mad Maddie, the waitress in Cruel Summer? Are we seeing Mad Maddie in scene right now?
An icon.
An icon, a scholar, a legend. Dare I say.
He
Let's
does
go, Mad
so
Maddie.
much. I mean,
So
she was
he's
there at this, you
at this
know,
moment. It's a historic moment.
fundamental, yeah, historic, life-changing moment. So, very important.
Yes, she probably heard Charlie say, I'm gonna marry these fries. And that's like, you heard that live and in person. So
Wow.
yeah, she's basically
I'm so
like,
lucky.
everybody good, and they're good. And Zace has her bring an extra plate of fries for Charlie, which is like, okay, okay. And
Good.
then Charlie smiles at him because he can't help it. It's like, okay, okay, okay. So
Okay.
then the song comes onto the sound system, and it is something that they recognize, and they talk about the music. And what I love about this little detail here is like Zay gets really excited about the fact that he's, because we've seen him in the season so far like really struggle with feeling connected to people, even if it's like I
Mm,
get along with them on this front, or I know them from this front, that I just can't click with people. I feel so like disconnected. And so this is the
mm,
first time we're seeing him click so effortlessly with someone. And yes, it's in a vein that he didn't expect it to be, but like the fact that he gets so excited and like happy in that conversation with Charlie is like, it kind of goes to show like it's not just a one-sided like opening up of worlds for Charlie. It's like Zay is experiencing something too.
yeah, so true. Like he's like his mind is changing because he didn't consider that and he didn't realize that Charlie would have those same interests.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that really comes across like later in the episode as well when like I don't know, when Charlie uh kisses Yindra, he's like,
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I just love the way it's phrased too, where it says like Zay's excited that he has a friend who shares his interests but isn't, well, insane. Let me say first, get wrecked, Maya and Farkle. Let me say second, unfortunately for you, Zay, Charlie is insane. He's just a different
yeah,
brand of
you
insane, and
just
you are gonna
haven't,
become very familiar with that.
yeah, you
You
just
may think
haven't
he's
seen
not
it yet.
insane now, but oh boy. Oh boy.
Just wait.
He is like second place for insanity. It's like Farkle, and then like he and Issa are like tied for insanity. So good luck, Zay. So then basically they're like, hey, like this is gonna be it's gonna making a movie musical about it. It's coming out like pretty soon, I think, like in the next couple of months, like, and they find out, oh, it's like actually opening night. And so they make plans. They're like, let's go after opening night to see this really bad movie. And Charlie, who is just having the time of his damn life, is like, yeah, let's do it. That'll be so fun. And so it says they even shake on it, which again is like, you make
So
intricate
cute.
rituals to touch the skin of other men. Like, okay, I get it. You have to touch whenever you can. That's fine. I allow it. So yeah, now we've got
Yeah, and like
plans.
did
Plans are
their
being
hands
made.
linger? I feel like them reaching across the table to shake hands, and then there's also like reaching to take from the same bowl of fries, and there's a lot of them reaching across the table, kind of like you could make a set of like stills or gifs from that, and
True.
it's like
I mean,
they're both
them and
they're reaching out.
yes, them and like hands and like touching
Hmm.
of hands is like so. I mean, I'm thinking about, you said that and it made me immediately think about 301 was Somewhere, which is all about the hands and
Hmm.
like just that idea, like, and one of my favorite scenes ever, which it's gonna take us 5,000 years to get there, but like in 314, after they see the dance show and they're like kind of like they don't know where they stand with each other really, and they're trying to make it better, and then like Charlie asks about like, hey, what's like that number on your wrist, and it's the Turner number, but he like touches his wrist to like look at it
Hmm.
and is like holding his, it's like a touch between them is like literally makes me feel insane. So
Yeah,
you said that right.
yeah, it's about the hands.
It's about the
Very
reverent
important.
touch. And they get back from that, and Charlie is so nerdy excited. He like puts it on his calendar. that he says he like it's obsessively well used, so of course it is. And so he's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, night, here we go. I got plans. It's gonna be iconic. And he's really excited about that. So good for him getting to be excited about something for once in his life. So then,
Yeah, and it's like, what
yeah.
did he write? Like, did he write like hang out with Zay, or did he just write the movie name, or
Did he just
did
write
he do a
Zay?
little heart?
He's gonna put Zay all over his calendar, just in big letters, all the time, because it's true. So yeah, then we have this next kind of another little musical progression to show time lapse. So again, this is kind of something that happens in these episodes where time is wonky. We're kind of seeing time progress in a liquid fashion. It's not very like linear, but we're getting to see some cool ways that occurs. And in Charlie's story, not only is that about the set changing and the pieces coming together, but it's also a little montage of Zay and Charlie continuing to like build their friendship, like hanging out, going to art exhibitions, having food. Like basically it says like all the stuff that friends do, but in my notes it literally says like boyfriends. That's how I
They
felt about
start
that.
texting more.
It's
Truly, Charlie is alive. He's uninhibited. He's genuinely happy. So
yes.
um, it's like who gave him life? Zay.
Yeah,
Zay is his life force
we gotta
at
ask
this
ourselves these
point.
important questions. And it makes me cry, but that's okay. So yeah, I mean, I did
Yeah.
highlight that in blue. That like that paragraph that says through all these interactions, Charlie truly comes alive. He's more uninhibited and genuinely happy than he's been all season, showing off smiles that would truly earn the nicest smile moniker he earned from last year's yearbook. First of all, tears in my eyes. Second of all, that is a reference to, if you all remember a million years ago, the way that we did promo for the show, like the entire show was like these little yearbook inserts, and it was like a little bit about the characters, and also then as we were getting ready, I think like the promo for season 1 was like a yearbook, what are they called, like superlatives. So it was like
Mm-hmm.
people were given, like I think Lucas's, was like most likely to go to jail or something like that, like all these little like nods that you typically
Maybe
see in a
so.
yearbook. And Charlie's was nice to smile, so that's like alluding back to that promo that we did.
God, he must be going insane, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that he gets to go to an art gallery with Zay, like dream, like is coming true.
Like, can you even process? Can he even process? Can anybody
I
even
don't think
process?
I don't think the world has yet processed it.
It was 3 years ago and we're still processing it. So
I don't know how it was 3 years ago because it really feels like we just live in that moment forever.
yeah, isn't it so crazy how long ago season 1 was? It's kind of like, it kind of blows my mind when I think about it.
It's
Ugh,
insane.
okay.